Hey everybody, Corey here coming at you with another knife video. Yes, happy Monday. Yes, I'm in a robe. Yes, my hair is a mess. But you know what? That's not what we're here for today. Today we are here for a special NKD. This is not an unboxing. This is a first impression of 5 different knives that I have recently obtained. 2 are mine and 2 have been lent to me from Tyler over at Everyday EDC. But I think they are all, well, except for one. They're knives that are relatively well known within the knife community, and I just wanted to give my first impressions on them. So actually, while I'm here, I'm going to start in order of my current least favorite to most favorite of these 5. Up first, we have the Spyderco Shaman. This is with the orange scale. This is one of the loners. Orange is not my color. But now this one is actually interesting to me. This is very interesting to me. Now, I'm not going to judge the action. Tyler has mentioned to me that he's had some troubles with this one, which is kind of concerning on its own, but he's mentioned that he's had some troubles with it, whatever. There's no pocket clip with it, whatever, that's fine. I'm actually disappointed. I'm actually surprised. This knife in pictures looks like just a very thick, comfortable knife. And the blade is thick. The blade is a hunk of steel. The handle is actually thinner than I expected it to be. And there's something with the contouring, I'll tell you right now, that hump, the palm swell right here, it's not doing it for me. It's like it's not where I feel like it should be. It's right past the choil for your finger. It's like right where my middle finger wants to lay. It doesn't really make sense. It always, a palm swell always feels better when it's in like in between your middle finger and your pinky, because that's like naturally where your hand wants to kind of hump up. Right now, it's just kind of like pressing into my middle finger. Now, I will say, suddenly the knife becomes comfortable when you choke up, because the palm swell is now between my ring finger and my middle finger, and it's not awkward anymore. This is pretty comfortable, but this is not the way that I would always want to use the knife. So I don't know, I'm just torn there. Like I said, the scales are a little bit thinner than I was expecting, and also the inside of the scales, not chamfered at all. This is the same thing with like a PM2. It's actually quite sharp. I would sandpaper that, if this was mine. It's not, so I'm not going to do that. But first impressions, a little sad. I was really excited for the Shaman, but we'll play with it a little bit more. Second of the 5 knives that I currently am enjoying the least, that's a really depressing way to have a video. The Reeve knives, Umnumzan. There's something about it. The thumb stud, it's not there. It's not there for me. Something about the Umnumzan, it's like it looks good in practice, and then you get it in your hand and you're like, feels like they like stopped designing this knife. Like, feels like they just like didn't work out some of the kinks. The O-rings are fine. I don't really have a problem with the O-rings. Right now, my biggest problem with the Umnumzan, and maybe it just requires some getting used to, the thumb studs are in a position where they're kind of hard to get an angle on, and I almost like, I can't slow roll it. It's like I really do have to, I really do have to pop it out. It takes a little too much effort to deploy, and that's actually going to lead me to my third knife on the list. It's the main problem with my third knife, but it's just a little too hard to deploy, and I have heard this, the lock bar, it's very pointy. It's weird. It's like it's a big hot spot right where you want to put your fingers and do work, and I don't know. I'm shocked. I'm shocked compared to how much I enjoy my large Sebenza. I'm pretty shocked. And then again, on the inside of that lock bar, not really chamfered, so disengaging it's pretty uncomfortable, to be quite honest. let's talk about what I like about the knife. It's got a pretty slim carry profile. That's nice. And I actually like the tip. The tip, it's not sharpened on the back, but it comes to a point. I mean, you could sharpen that and put an edge on that if you wanted to. Just kind of cool because, like, maybe if you don't want to, people have said, you know, if you don't want to gunk up your blade, you're cutting through tape, you could still totally pierce something and then pull this through like tape for opening packages or something. So you just kind of nasty up the spine, but not the blade. I think that's kind of cool. Other than that, I'd take a large Sebenza any day at this point, right? We need some more exposure. Third up, the Giant Mouse Knives Ace Sonoma. Okay? And let me tell you why. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, I can. This is a very, very nice knife. Very ergonomic. And hey, look, that palm swell is pretty neutral, and it's doing what I said I wanted it to do. See how it rests in the middle of my three fingers? Like the main hump isn't on my pointer finger. That's a palm swell. That's nice. That's really nice. And it comes back. It's got this just a big enough groove right for your pinky to really sink into. This one is really, really nice. The one thing that's kind of putting me off to this, not the action. The action's really nice. The flipper tab. This is very sensitive to lock bar pressure, and this is probably going to be hard for you to see. We'll try to get it for you. It's a very small flipper tab, and it's very downward sloping. It's actually kind of hard to get a grip on this. And as such, I spent a lot of time like gouging up my fingernail and gouging up my pointer finger. Yep, there it is. What I have found is that the only way to open this knife consistently is to really commit. You've got to really dig your finger in there, even above the part that's got the jimping on it. If you're just on the jimping, you're probably going to fail. You go all the way in and you have to commit. You gotta light switch it hard. Otherwise, you're just gonna slip off it, and that jimping is moderately aggressive. It's just gonna gnaw away at your finger. I love this knife when it's deployed. Love the knife when it's closed. Love the aesthetics. Deploying it might be a turn-off if this was gonna be your only knife for your everyday carry, you know, going forward. Next up. This is gonna forever be proof that I don't just hate Spyderco. The Smock. The Smock. I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely understand it. I absolutely get the hype. It's a Spyderco with a flipper tab. And oh, by the way, the flipper tab disappears because of the positioning, right? Normally flipper tabs are shooting out the back. This one's right here. Guess what? When it flips, hey, look at that. It's flush with the scale, so the flipper tab disappears. That's really cool. The compression lock isn't the annoying compression lock where you have to jam your fingers into the knife. It's a button. So even though it's not a button lock, it's technically still a compression lock. You activate it and deactivate it like a button lock, and that's really, really comfortable. Oh, by the way, you can also like kind of front flip this, but it's more like a reverse front flip. Very comfortable. Spidey flicking doesn't feel like it was meant to be Spidey flicked. I'm sure someone out there can. Not my gig. And you can even just deploy it with the compression lock. The ergos. The ergos, my man. It's weird because it doesn't look like it should be anything special, but something about this, it just sits really, really nicely in the hand. Sharpening choil, finger choil, you can choke up. Not sure how I feel about that. I definitely prefer to remain a little bit further back, but honestly, it's nice just like this. It is nice just like this. I understand. I finally understand. The jimping is good, nice and aggressive. The ergos are good. The action is good. This one, I get it. I get the smock now. So that's the smock. And then finally, numero uno. a knife that I spent a week trying to hunt down because they don't make them anymore. They're like literally not for sale anywhere on the internet. So I'm sorry if you run out and try to get one of these. This is a Rayot Knives new Torrent. It's actually called the new Torrent. I'm not saying it's a new Torrent. The name is new Torrent. I don't know why. This thing is beautiful. You've got that bronzed titanium. You've got a carbon fiber inlay with what I believe is a milled brass inlay inside of the the carbon fiber inlay, which is inside of the titanium. That's bonkers. And oh, by the way, it's symmetrical. And look at that beautiful ceramic ball pocket clip. And oh, by the way, the action, so smooth. And oh, by the way, moment of truth, I don't even really have to say too much about this because it speaks for itself. It's a chonky boy. I think it's like 6.1 ounces, but you know what? Kind of reminds me of the Benchmade Contigo, except it doesn't destroy my hand. This is nice. This is really nice. That's all I'll say about this, but this is my first formal Rayot. By the way, Rayot makes the Giant Mouse a Sonoma as well. Giant Mouse designed it, Rayot manufactures it, whoop-de-doo. The new Torrent is my first formal Rayot, and wow. I will be paying attention to Rayot in the near future. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you're excited for some of these knives. I definitely am, and I will see you guys next time. I don't know what that was. I'll see you guys next time.